Welcome back to the Commercial Real Estate Show. I'm Michael Bull. We sure appreciate you being with us. Today we're talking about the U.S. office market. Next, please welcome my next guest, John Heagy. He is a rock star in the office market. He's Senior Managing Director with Hines. Now, Hines is pretty big in the office environment and in commercial real estate. They were founded in 1957. They have locations in 185 cities and 19 countries, including regional offices in Atlanta, Chicago, Houston, London, New York, and San Francisco. John, thanks for joining us today.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate it. And John, you've been active. You guys have been active in new development and new buildings and filling up some of these spaces in this demand. So what's new in the new office? You know, we hear that no one wants to drop ceilings. They want concrete floors. They want open spaces. They want technology. What are you guys providing?
Well, you know, what's interesting, Michael, is that more about than just the buildings themselves is that where these buildings are being built right now. There was an interesting statistic that came out a number of years ago by Chris Lineberger, who made the prediction that about 80 to 90% of our development was going to happen on 10% of the available land. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now across the country. Tenants are really voting for where they want to be with their feet. They want walkable environments. They want connectivity. So those office buildings, the new office buildings of the future, are all located in locations where the customer really wants to be, not just where we can get a great piece of land at a great price.
And how much is transit involved in that?
It's huge. You know, connectivity with transit is a direct connection to that younger generation that really is our consumer of the future. And you know, what's also interesting is that the my generation that now is transitioning in where we've lived residentially, we're seeing the value of that connectivity as well.
Yeah, you know, traffic is only getting worse in most all major cities, right? So if you can live closer, and then there's also this clustering, right? You know, we've seen that in retail and in restaurants where they like to cluster, but we're seeing a little bit of that in the office market, especially in the technology world, aren't we?
That's correct. Yeah, no question about that.
Yeah. And what about the amenities and kind of the features? You know, what are drawing in tenants to new space today?
Well, you know, companies are nowadays focused on collaboration. They've got a much more intense focus on their individual companies' goals and long-term values in the company. So having a space that reflects that is important. Mm-hmm. Open floor plans with open ceilings. Spaces that have a lot more light that come into the space, mm-hmm. make it a lot more appealing for their customers to be there, their employees to be there. Also, you know, the new reality is that we've got tenants and customers that have a much higher density per square foot. So
you're seeing that continue?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's only getting more and more. And our buildings have to be able to address that. The buildings of the future have to be able to address that. Older buildings are having a struggle with that, you know, with things like elevatoring and plumbing systems and electrical and mechanical. Those are issues for the older buildings that the new buildings can address now.
Right, and I guess also parking, if you're not on transit, can be a problem when there's more people, right?
Big challenge, big challenge.
Yeah, and some of these heating and cooling systems in these older buildings, I guess, can be a challenge, right? When you have much more people in the space.
Exactly right. I mean, that's back to the density question.
Yeah.
And you know, the other interesting thing is that if we think about buildings of the past, lobbies were, you know, really served a different purpose. Lobbies today are very different. They serve a purpose of collaboration. It's not just a processional into the building. The tenants want to activate them. They want to be able to use those lobbies as a part of their own organization's activities.
Yeah. How much is bandwidth a draw today?
You mean like gigabyte and what have you? I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's not an expectation today, but I can tell you sometime in the next 5 years or so, it will be an expectation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see where would be important. So, well, let's talk about the job market. I mean, we hear about these in the tenants that we work with. Hey, they want to cram more people in less space, but they're also more concerned now as the job market's improving with retention and recruiting folks. So, how is that impacting the industry for you guys?
Well, it's huge. We're seeing it across the country. There's a huge war for talent, for hiring talented people. And whereas in the past, office buildings largely went where the boss had his home,
Right.
and the employees just had to kind of fall in line. But there's an interesting statistic that I saw the other day. Think of these numbers: 3, 30, and 300. $3 a square foot is what a company is spending on energy cost. $30 a square foot is what they're spending on office rent. $300 a square foot is what they're spending on human resource, the employees that are in that office. So figure out where they're really putting their emphasis these days. It's on those employees.
Right. Well, and that's important, and they can't lose sight of that. And it's more important than ever as this job market continues to improve. I know when we picked the location we're in our corporate office, we mapped every employee, every broker, and said, all right, now where do we want to be? We're going to take a short break. We'll have more with John about the U.S. office market. I'm Michael Bull. This is the Commercial Real Estate Show. We'll be right back. The Commercial Real Estate Show is brought to you by Bull Realty Commercial Advisors, a great place to do business. Visit bullrealty.com. RealNex, a comprehensive and powerful suite of commercial real estate tools at an incredibly low price. Visit realnex.com. That's REALNEX. Xceligent, the resource professionals use for commercial real estate information. Visit xceligent.com. That's XCELIGENT. Commercial Search, the source to market and source available properties for sale or lease. Visit commercialsearch.com. For more information on these great companies or for additional videos, podcasts, or articles, visit CREshow.com.